you. This is Her Standards. Welcome to the show that highlights women empowerment issues, and we also find ways to advance gender equality. Today, we are coming to you from 4 Points by Sheraton Hurlingham. This is a beautiful place where you can come and have a wonderful time with your family for a staycation. You can have your work meetings here and so on and so forth. Now, on today's episode of Her Standards, we want to look at matters human resources. Why is it so difficult for women to move up the career ladder? Why is that ladder so elusive and slippery for the women folk? Now, to help us discuss this topic is, well, no, not a team of experts, but we have human resources practitioners. They have experience in the field, they have interacted with women, and they fully understand what we need to do as women in order to scale that ladder, but also to go ahead of everyone else, ahead of ourselves even. Now, my name is Queen Sambori, and I'm always delighted to bring to you these stories about women. If you want to be part and parcel of this discussion, you know what to do. Head on to social media at KTN Home across all platforms, or you can talk to me directly at Queen Tambori on Facebook, Queenie Mbori on Instagram, and Queenie Saina on Twitter. And since we have the HR experts in the house, I'm also available on LinkedIn as Queen Mbori. And well, let's have this conversation and see where it goes now. Ladies, karibuni sana.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for hosting us.
I'm so happy. I couldn't wait to have this discussion with Joy and Jerusha, who I've met today. Joy, we have a long history. She will introduce herself in a short while. But how does it feel to sit on the other side of the interviewing panel?
Being HR experts, I mean, when you flip it, it's how can I say, it's a little bit odd, but I think you get so used to interviews that it becomes part and parcel of a human resource practitioner.
Yeah. Jerusha, today you are not sitting on this side. You're not the one doing the interview. You're being interviewed. How does that make you feel?
And that is going to be a little bit difficult. I'm used to be the one who now is you. However, it is good to, it's a good change for me to be able to be quizzed on the other side and for my views to be asked.
Very nice.
Yes.
You guys have a long history, apparently. Yes, we do. How far back, how long have you known each other?
Probably for the last 15 years, because when I met Joy, I was doing a consultancy with the organization where she worked. And we've remained friends ever since.
Ever since?
Yes.
Amazing. I'm sure the women are very excited to have you on the show today. We have many questions stretching from here to Timbuktu. We are just wondering, what is it, this thing that we are not getting right? And we can't wait to, get the tips from you. Now, let me ask you a question that you often ask people when you're doing the interview.
Yes.
Let me start with Joy. Could you please tell me about yourself? I can't believe I've done this.
Oh my God, that's such a common question, but when you ask me, I'm blank. Like, all right. My name is Joy Kaguri. I'm the HR manager for Standard Group, and also the secretary of the Standard Group Women Network, and with over 20 years experience. And I can say I love my career. I love what I do. I have passion for women empowerment. I've seen it, and I'm so excited about this topic because over the 20 years I've seen in terms of the career progression for the women. I've seen the kind of challenges they go through. I've seen the joys they go through. So for me, I just find I have a lot of passion because of what I've experienced in terms of women and career in the workplace. So yeah, this is about that's for sure. Yes, and yes, I've known Jerusha actually for over 15 years.
Oh.
Yeah, in a consultancy aspect of for HR. So Jerusha is my mentor. She's so seasoned in HR.
I can imagine.
And I'm so honored to have her here to share with them. the journey on sharing with women about the career path. I know she's going to be very instrumental in giving us very valuable information that the ladies out there want to listen or hear. Yeah, thank you.
Interesting. I know by now you've already started putting the ducks in a row, and you are wondering why I'm excited to have Joy on the show. She's my human resources manager. So how I conduct this interview will determine whether I get a raise or a demotion.
So true.
So I have to be very careful. I have to choose my words wisely. I cannot put my boss on the spot, but I will do my best. Jerusha,
Yes.
please tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm actually a human resource consultant. I've been doing, let me start from the beginning. This is my second profession. I started my first profession as a journalist. I used, most of you were not born, I used to produce Dunia Wiki Hii.
I remember Dunia Wiki Hii.
Years and years ago at the then VUK. And it was through that I went to the BBC in London.
Yes.
Where I stayed for a long time, and then left to work with the ethnic minority women in London in order for me to make programs about them. And I got stuck in that one. So I've remained in working with women over the years and consulting on development issues, developing young women mainly, and I do that all over. I've been throughout Africa with the International Women's Media Foundation, which was started by another woman journalist in the US. So I've been everywhere with them, and I go back to the US to do the same thing for them now and again. So this is what I do for a living. I also work with the young women. In fact, for those of you who remember Wanjiru Kehoro, we started a women's organization in London called Akina Mama wa Africa. And I hear now it has branches in Western Africa, in Uganda. The women who used to be part of that organization have taken the word out.
Nice.
So that is brilliant. I still continue to work with young women. I mentor young girls at the Precious schools. These are the specific group of girls who are very bright, who have got very good marks in their exams, but they come from poor families. So there is a charity that funds them, and it is this charity that takes us there to go and mentor them once every term. So I continue to do the same job.
Wow, welcome. And we're just glad to have you on Her Standards. We set very high standards on
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. And now, this issue of corporate ladder and going up the career ladder, it's quite a slippery one for women. So slippery that Joy just mentioned that she's a secretary of Standard Group Women Network. I just realized that apart from being the host of Her Standards, I also wear another cap. And today, for the very first time, probably just to tell you, my viewers, that I'm also the president of Standard Group Women Network. It is a responsibility that I take very seriously because of my passion for women empowerment and gender equality, especially in the workspaces, especially women, giving women opportunity, empowering them to take up leadership positions. Now, this matter is very important, or is at the core of Standard Group Women Network, such that it is one of our agenda. Is it the first one?
Yes,
It's our topmost agenda as a women's network to ensure that we are able to empower women at the workplace so that they can grow from one point to the next, so that their value is felt. But Joy and Jerusha, you'll agree with me, I have forgotten how to pronounce your second name.
Jerusha will do. It's easier. It means inheritance.
Vaughan. Did I get it right?
Arotha Vaughan, correct.
Arotha Vaughan,
yes.
Nice. So, you will both agree with me that in as much as we've seen a little bit of progress.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think women have got to develop other women. If you are in a position of authority where you can hold another woman's hand, do that. The thing is, if you look around at organizations that are led by women,
Yeah.
or departments within the government or wherever, you will find if a woman is on top, she has not carried the other women along with her. I'm not saying you take somebody along for the sake of being a woman, but if there is talent, because they're in the minority in a lot of organizations.
Yes.
So I think women taking the responsibility of developing others is really critical. If you are in a position where two people have equal abilities, a male and a female, I'm sorry to say, because when you look at the figures, they are not equal.
No, they are not.
So don't feel ashamed to give the position. Not because she is a woman, because she is as qualified as the other person. Yes.
But why is the progress so slow? Why is it so slow? I mean, when you look at studies that have been done across the board, we are barely moving. It's like we are stagnated. Joy.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good question. Unfortunately, sometimes it can be a little bit like that has been kind of historical and also traditionally how things have been handled. Yes. We still have, the women are trying to catch up to change from that mindset, whereby it was basically, the women had been set for some specific positions, and the men were taking some more managerial, and the women were more on secretarial and that kind of thing. Yeah, but now it's changing. It's actually, you find that the women have, when you look at the education, right now you find that about 50% of the enrollment is women and men. So they are getting into the job market and also being able to take up jobs which are predominantly men before. Just as Jerusha was saying, we find that there are women CEOs now, and they're doing a good job. Just about the aspect of being able to build other women, so they can also mentor them to take up the jobs as they take up other new higher responsibilities. Yes, so you can know that you have left a whole pool of mentored ladies who can take up the job.
Absolutely, and that is really is happening. Some women have already broken the mold. If you look at in the travel industry, there is Koki Mutungi, who is a pilot of some of the big jets here. There's a woman here who is called Susan Murabana, the only female astronomer in Kenya. Have you heard of a traveling telescope?
Yes.
She travels around with her telescope, telling people about it. And then, of course, in Kenya, those are the only two I can identify who are in a different, not a traditional female role, but they are doing things that are, they are in areas which have been dominated by men. So the question is, how do we encourage young women, young girls coming up particularly, to get interested in being pilots, in being scientists, in being doctors, but not always taking the second position, the second.
Actually, now we even
how do we do it? That is the challenge, I think, that is facing us today. And I think it is up to every woman who is in a position of authority to make sure that they bring the other women below them up with them.
I want to throw a spanner in the works, Jerusha.
Go on.
Because we have, historically, women have been accused of being our own worst enemy, that the ones who have, gone up the ladder, the ones who are holding those influential positions, they have been accused of turning a blind eye on the rest of us.
I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. However, it is true that what we see. Are we afraid of competition from another woman? I have no idea. I think these are the issues we should explore. Why don't we want to bring other women up to be where we are? Why don't we, my second in command, why shouldn't she be a woman to take over from me? I'm not quite sure what it is, but then look at the society in which we live. It is a very male-dominated society. Therefore, women sometimes they feel guilty about being seen to be in favor of someone because they are their own sex, they're women as well. So there is this dilemma that women have. If I start now favoring Joy over him, what will others think? It's because she's a woman or because she's my friend. We may not be friends, but she's a professional in her own capacity. And as women, we should not be afraid to hire professionals if they are there and they happen to be women.
If you're torn between, for instance, you have two candidates here, they're both qualified. One is a woman and one is a man. Which one should we go for?
I have no problem about taking the woman. Because when you look at the statistics, the men anyway dominate just about every profession. So because we are forever feeling guilty as women, so we don't want anybody to go behind our back saying, oh, she gave that job to her because it is another woman. What's wrong with that? We need to bring the figures into parallel.
It's called generation equality.
Absolutely. And without apologies, as long as the person is qualified
for the position.
and they are the best among the others to do that job, not just because they're women.
I totally agree. Actually, even at the network, at the workplace, we are very deliberate, and we say, in as much as we have started the network, it's an opportunity whereby we are going to provide opportunities and avenues where women can be able to develop themselves and take up, be ready for these jobs at a higher role.
Absolutely.
And we are very clear that we are not going to get that role because we have a network that is pushing an agenda for women. It's because you're the best qualified candidate.
Absolutely.
So equip yourself in terms of the skill, the knowledge, the experience, and then get the confidence. Come out there and be able to stand out so that you can get that. Everybody who is maybe in a panel can say you're qualified not because you're a woman or not because the network has pushed for you, it's because by your
good at it.
Yes, you're good at it, and they believe that you can be able to deliver and to the expectations and even beyond what the company expects.
Absolutely.
So that becomes very crucial.
Look at it. Men have men's clubs. Tell me how many women's clubs we have in Kenya today, here in Nairobi. Why? We don't network with ourselves.
We have chamas.
We have chambers.
Chama.
Oh, give me space. Yes, you see, that is the level at which we tend to operate.
Okay, so we need to
We need to up our game. Meet in a professional club. Set up clubs of your own. And don't make any apologies. Men don't make apologies.
Absolutely.
So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. We need to come
we hope that women who are listening, who are following this conversation, you have heard from the speaker. I don't want to say horse's mouth. You heard from the speaker. We need to set up our own clubs. Now, one thing, back to you guys, one thing that keeps coming out from this conversation is Jerusha says, women need to be qualified. Joy says, women need to be qualified. What is this animal called qualified? What does it entail when you say qualified? Is it skills? Is it personality? Is it leadership, exposure? What is it?
Well, that is the equalizer, which is education.
Okay.
I think education is the equalizer. But also there is the mentorship. If you are in a position of authority and you can see me coming up, mentor me as another woman so that also I can start learning the game, as it were, how you have done it. The thing is, we don't mentor other women, not many. We don't start mentoring our girls when they are very young so that they can start looking up to us as women to say, I want to be like Joy when I am at age 2. It is, that's what the problem I think it is. I don't have an answer in this one. But we as women, we don't mentor other women. Neither do we mentor the younger sisters that we have, the younger women that work with us.
Are we busy? Are we...
Well, your answer is as good as mine. I'm not quite sure.
You're not sure.
Is it again because we don't want to be seen to be favoring our own members of our own sex? Men are doing it all the time. So, if they can do it, why can't we?
So true. The women are so modest. They're so modest in their approaches. And that is what not sometimes gets us overtaken, because in that, when you're just being too modest, opportunities come and pass because you're fearing to be seen, as you say, like favoring, or you're trying to play an unfair game. But the men will come, take it and run with it. No apologies, and they get it. And when you get it, you go with it, and it's gone. Absolutely, particularly it's gone. Yeah. But in terms of what you're saying, in terms of the skill set, the leadership, that you find on the level ground, there's some minimum requirements which we need for maybe a particular role or taking up a particular assignment. You find that the women usually are equally qualified, but one thing I've noticed when we do the interviews, we can have an opportunity in terms of a job, and we put some requirements for the position. And you can find the woman has met maybe like 90% of those requirements and just missing one. And that one could be something so minor, like it's requesting for 5 years relevant experience. The lady has 4 years relevant. She disqualifies herself. And you find a male counterpart has 3 years experience, and they will apply.
Yes.
And because you have applied, you'll only get noticed if you apply. If you don't apply, nobody will know that you exist. And that's the aspect of the modesty. We are just too overcautious, and we don't take the risk in terms of being able to say, let me apply and see if I get shortlisted.
You know, Joe, you mentioned something about being on the interview. We're about to take a short break. I can see my producer hinting. I want to ask for the community and women. That's a popular saying in Kenya, asking for the community when you don't want to be part and parcel of that. But you people are having sat on the interviewing panels for all those years. I know Jerusha has a wealth of experience, and so is Joy. What are probably some of the, just off your mind, 3 mistakes that we make when you're sitting on the other side and we're sitting on this other side, and we are interviewing for this job of our dream, but we have the right qualification, we have everything, but what comes out of our mouth is not what you want. What do you think top 3 mistakes that we make as women? Before we take a short break.
I think one of the worst thing we do as women is being apologetic. We don't like blowing our own trumpet. Well, if you've got it, flaunt it.
Okay. That's so true. That's good. Actually, one of the another thing that makes the women, you can do an interview so well, then we call that there's the career landmine question that can kill your career. A question like, why do you feel that we should hire you for this job? And you find that the male counterpart are able to demonstrate even what they're not good at, but they're able to blow it out of proportion. But sometimes the women, after all that good, that landmine question which kills the whole interview and puts you apart in terms of getting you disqualified, find that a woman says, I have a family to take care of, I have children, my husband left me, so I really need this job. So you find that, no, sell yourself and your skill. You've already demonstrated
your professional
skills. So you find that landmine question just almost stops you. Swings the decision for you to make that
committing a career suicide move.
Absolutely.
And then you look as if you are begging, please.
Exactly.
And yet you have the skill to do the job.
The experience, you've got the right skill set for that position, but that kills you. That kills you.
Oh, well, we're just getting started. As you can see, things are moving in the direction that we want. This is Her Standards. Today we are talking about human resources and some of those career mistakes that women are making that is stopping us from scaling up the corporate ladder. We are joined by an amazing panel, HR experts, experienced HR experts, and we just want to get to know more about some of those mistakes that we make as women, and not just that, but what we can do about it. If you have a comment, question, you have a personal experience to share, you know what to do by now. Just talk to us on KTN Home across all platforms. Talk to me at Queen Sambori on Facebook, Queen Mbori Instagram, or Queenie Saina on Twitter. You can also connect with me directly at Queen Sambori on LinkedIn. Allow us to take a short break, we pay some bills, we will be right back.